My shift at the old, abandoned St. Dimphnus Hospital was supposed to be easy money. Just sit here until dawn. Make sure no kids break in. That's what they told me. They also gave me a list of rules. Simple, handwritten, a little strange, but I figured it was some kind of hazing for the new security guard. I'm starting to think it's more than that. I'm starting to think these rules are the only thing keeping me alive. The first hour was dead silent. So quiet you could hear the building settle, groan like an old man in his sleep. I was set up at the main nurse's station on the 3rd floor. A wide, curved desk covered in a thick layer of dust. My flashlight beam cut through the darkness, dancing over old charts and rusted equipment. Then it started. A shrill, piercing ring that sliced through the silence. A phone. An old rotary phone on the corner of the desk. A model that must have been ancient even when this place was still open. It rang and rang, echoing down the empty halls. My first instinct, my gut reaction, was to answer it. To make the noise stop. My hand was literally hovering over the receiver when I remembered the first rule on that crumpled piece of paper. Rule number 1. Don't answer any calls. I pulled my hand back like I'd been burned. Who could possibly be calling? The line's been dead for 40 years. The ringing continued, insistent, demanding. I tried to ignore it, covering my ears, but it was no use. It was like the sound was coming from inside my own head. I scanned the darkness beyond the desk, and my heart hammered against my ribs. Standing just at the edge of my flashlight's reach, where the shadows were thickest, was a figure. A woman in a starched, old-fashioned nurse's uniform. Her face was a blur of shadow, but I could feel her eyes on me. She wasn't moving. She was just waiting. Waiting for me to answer the phone. The ringing finally stopped, and in the deafening silence that followed, she was gone. My hands were shaking. I needed to move. To walk, to prove to myself I wasn't just losing my mind. I grabbed my flashlight and started my patrol, my boots crunching on unseen debris. The 3rd floor was a maze of corridors. The one I chose long and straight, but what made the air go cold was that one entire wall was lined with mirrors. Tall, wide mirrors, the kind you'd see in a physical therapy ward. They were grimy, streaked with years of filth, but still reflective. And that's when I remembered the 2nd rule. Rule number 2. Never look in the mirrors. Easy enough, I thought. I just had to keep my eyes fixed on the opposite wall. But it's harder than it sounds. Your eyes are naturally drawn to movement, to reflections. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see myself walking, a shadowy figure keeping pace with me in the grimy glass. I focused on the peeling paint on the far wall, on the water stains shaped like grasping hands. I was almost at the end of the hall, almost safe, when my foot slipped on something wet. I stumbled, and for a single horrifying second, my head whipped around, and I looked directly into the mirror beside me. It was me, but it wasn't. The reflection was twisted, distorted. Its eyes were too wide, black pits of emptiness. Its mouth was stretched into a silent scream that tore its face apart. The fingers on its reflected hand were long and sharp, like black talons, scratching at the surface of the glass from the inside. It lunged at the mirror, a silent, predatory movement. And I screamed, scrambling backward and falling hard on the floor. I didn't look again. I crab-walked backward, my eyes squeezed shut until my back hit the far wall. When I finally dared to look, the hall was empty. The mirrors just showed the dim, empty corridor. But now I can feel it. A coldness that wasn't there before, clinging to me. Like my reflection is still out there somewhere, hunting for me. I decided to get as far away from that floor as possible. I took the stairs down to the 1st floor, heading towards the old pediatric ward. I thought it might be less intense. A place for children, even an abandoned one, had to be better than what I'd just seen. The moment I pushed open the double doors, A wave of cold air washed over me. The walls were painted with faded murals of cartoon animals, their smiles now looking more like sinister grimaces in the gloom. Little metal cribs were lined up in neat rows, some with decaying blankets still draped over the rails. And then I heard it. A faint, high-pitched sound. Giggling. A child's giggle. It was quiet at first, like it was coming from the far end of the ward. Then another one joined in, and another. Soon the air was filled with the sound of children laughing. A joyful sound that was utterly terrifying in this dead, empty place. It was coming from all around me. My blood ran cold as I remembered the last rule on the list, the one underlined twice. Rule number 3. If you hear giggling, run. I didn't need to be told twice. I turned to flee, and my flashlight beam caught a flicker of movement. For just a split second, I saw them. Small, shadowy figures darting between the cribs. They were child-sized, but they moved too fast, too unnaturally, like spiders skittering in the dark. The giggling got louder, more frantic, turning from playful to manic. It felt like they were right behind me, their laughter nipping at my heels. I burst out of the pediatric ward, slamming the doors shut behind me, and I didn't stop running. I'm back at the nurse's station now. I've barricaded the door. The sun won't be up for another 3 hours. I've read the rules again and again. There are only 3. What happens when I run out of rules? What happens when they stop playing and finally decide to catch me? I don't know if I'm going to make it to dawn. All I know is this place is alive and it's hungry. And it knows my name.